Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Okay, first of all, I'm gonna say sorry about the application of my lipstick. I was wearing a different lipstick and I hated it, so I changed it and now it's kind of a hot mess, but we all know that that's just me. Let's move on. It's another overcast day here in Australia and I was thinking, what video can I film today? I have been watching so many storytelling videos over the past couple of weeks and I think some of them are hilarious, some of them are shocking, and they're just all round entertaining. So I thought, hang on a second, I have so many stories to tell. Some of them probably not appropriate for camera. Some of them are really personal, and I think that I probably wait until I've been on YouTube for a little bit longer before I will tell my subscribers about those ones. But then I've just got some general ones that I think are quite just funny and interesting, and hopefully somebody else will feel the same. From the title, this story is about how I got free gold class tickets and a free dinner from Reading Cinemas in New Zealand. I'm debating whether I tell you which Reading Cinemas it is, but then I don't actually know how many there are, so it's probably fairly obvious. Anyhow, let's just start the story. My husband and I were in New Zealand visiting family and friends, and we decided that we would take my husband's brother's wife up on her offer of looking after our little one while we went out on a bit of a date night. If you don't have kids, let me just tell you that having a date night out is a big thing. It doesn't happen very often, particularly for us living in Australia. We don't have any family here, so it's literally just us, so we were very excited to get out and have a good time. So we were looking at the prices and we were shocked at how cheap it was to go to the movies in New Zealand. When I say cheap, I mean I think it was about 20 bucks for a gold class seat ticket on a weeknight, and that's when we were going, versus I think here in Australia it's something like $35, and if you buy online it's like $37 each. So we were like, hells yeah, let's go to gold class. And we were going to see the new Dracula movie. The title actually totally escapes my mind, but I'll have it on screen here somewhere. And we turned up at gold class and gave them our confirmation number because we'd booked online. The girl that was serving us said, would you like to order some food? And I said, yeah, sure. How long does the movie go for? She said it goes for 2 hours and 45 minutes. 2 hours and 45 minutes is a long friggin' time for a movie, can I just say? I went, well, yeah, absolutely. We're gonna have to eat dinner here. I'll be starving. It'll be like after 9 o'clock. Like, I gotta eat. I get hangry. I gotta eat. The other unique thing about gold class in New Zealand is that it's not like Australia where you can order food and then if you're still hungry you can press a button and they'll come and you can order more food. In New Zealand you get one chance to order your food and that is it. So that's what we did. We over ordered. We're like, I don't want to be hungry, we want to make this a good night, let's just do it. Let's just go all out and order a whole lot of food. Which if you've been to gold class you would know can be quite expensive. But that's okay, we haven't done this in a long time, so that's what we're gonna do. We got taken into the cinema, we sat down and we got comfortable. Me and my husband were talking about it and I just sort of said to him, far out, 2 hours and 45 minutes, thank goodness we ordered food, like what a long movie. And I'm surprised that I haven't heard that it's that long, you know. Anyway, so the commercials or ads start at the beginning, so the movie hasn't started yet, and the same girl that served us came in and said, are you seeing Gone Girl? And we said, no, we're seeing Dracula. And she said, okay, cool, I'm just checking. And then she left the cinema. And I sort of looked at my husband and went, okay, that's a bit weird. So then she came back in about 5 minutes later, ads and commercials are still showing at this point, and she said, can I just check your tickets? I want to make sure you're in the right cinema. And my husband turned to her and said, Cinema 2, Dracula, is that correct? And she said, okay, yeah, cool, yep, I was just checking. And then left. And we didn't think anything of it at this point in time. We were like, okay, cool. Clearly she's a little bit confused. Maybe she was on night shift, whatever. Sitting there watching the movie, the food comes in. It's all great. We had a couple of drinks, lovely. Got to the end of the movie, and if you've seen this movie, you'll understand what I mean. But we were like, cool, wow, what's gonna happen next? And then the movie just ended. And I was sort of sitting there thinking, wow, I must have really liked this movie. I must have really liked it a lot, because 2 hours and 45 minutes really doesn't feel like it's been 2 hours and 45 minutes. I looked at my clock. And I did a mental calculation and I worked out that the movie was, I think it was like 60 minutes. 60 minutes or something. It was like, or an hour and 20 minutes. It was like the shortest movie of all time, can I just say. This was so short, it was silly. I looked at my husband and I said, look, it could be an honest mistake. You know, these things happen. Why don't we just go out and tell them so that they know that this is an error. Could be a system error. And we don't want this to happen to somebody else. Walk out and there's a young guy on the counter who I think would be probably in his 20s, and I'm not going to use his real name, so let's call him Mac Attack. Walked up and said, hi, I just want to let you guys know that We went and saw a movie and we got told it was 2 hours and 45 minutes and it was actually like an hour or shorter. It was extremely short. We just wanted to let you know, basically, so it doesn't happen again. And this guy turned around and said, "Oh yes, I think I know what you're talking about. Let me just get your bill." So he went into the kitchen and got our bill and came out and he said, "So what's happened is that the person that was taking your order has made an error and they thought you were going to see Gone Girl, and so they told you that it was going to be 2 hours and 45 minutes and it wasn't." At this point, no apology, no nothing, just there's been an error made. So I sort of said to him, well, okay, I don't really understand. I'm like, because obviously we chose to have the food come in halfway through the movie or something like that. And it actually ended up coming in earlier because obviously it's such a short movie. I was kind of a little bit confused by this. We had no intention of making a big deal at this point. Like, we just wanted to tell them that there had been an error and that, you know, oops, let's hope that it doesn't happen to somebody else. When he said to us that we just changed the time and so your food came in earlier, then I sort of was thinking about it and I looked at him and said, "So when did you know the mistake had happened?" Because, you know, the girl did come in and ask us, you know, are you in the right cinema? What movie are you seeing? And he said, "Oh, we knew before the movie started." And I kind of was like, you knew before the movie started, why didn't you just come and tell us and we could have like altered our order or changed the time, or maybe we would have just had drinks and maybe a little nibbles, like we wouldn't have ordered heaps of food. Now this guy Mac was like, well, I understand what you wanted us to do. We changed the time so the food came in at a time that was, you know, appropriate given the movie. And he just had such attitude about it. I was being super polite and super nice about it. Wouldn't you just come and tell us that the error had been made so that we could make changes? And he's like, well, we didn't want to interrupt the movie. And I sort of looked at him and was like, yeah, but the lady that served us came in while the ads were showing. I think it was a Kiwi Bank commercial and then like an ad for insurance. Obviously, we're not going to care if you interrupt us during ads. This guy was just such attitude about this. Such attitude that I was like, I don't think I can let this go. I really don't think I can let this go. This guy's handling this so badly. I just said to him, well, you know, I sort of am feeling like you're sort of blaming us for the situation, and, you know, it's kind of a bit odd because the error was on behalf of you guys and I'm just sort of confused. And then my husband jumped in and he was trying to be all diplomatic and he said, dude, I know what it's like, I'm in sales. You know, I understand having people complain, it can be awkward. And this guy was just a nightmare. He just was arguing the fact, he was making us feel like crap. And my husband was just getting more and more annoyed because he was just speaking to me in quite a rude manner, I guess. My husband was so annoyed that this was happening that he said, come on, we're not gonna get anywhere with this fucking guy. And our night has sort of been messed up by this error. This guy is making us feel like such crap for raising it that I cannot let this go. I just cannot let this go. I looked at Mac and said, are you the supervisor? And he goes, I am the supervisor. And I said, okay, so but you're not the manager. And he said, no. I said, so what you're saying is there's somebody above you? And he said, yes. And I said, well, I'd like to speak with that person, please. So he picks up the bill, like swipes it off the table, walks into the kitchen, or should I say storms into the kitchen. And we can hear him on the radio and he's going blah 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 and just having a go, and it's been a complaint and here and they want to speak to you. Anyway, he came out and we're waiting for the manager and he's still arguing the fact with us at this point. And I was just like, really, we aren't getting anywhere with this guy. But then he actually said to us, and I don't fucking appreciate being sworn at either. And I sort of stood there and looked at him with such a puzzled look on my face. And I said, you just swore at us. And he did not know what to say. He just goes, oh, well, you did it first. Just when I thought that I'd had enough of Mac, he turned around and said, I don't know what you want me to do. You know, we can't give you a refund for this. You know, this is not our problem. And I just stood there and looked at him and thought, and then subsequently said, do you know what? When we came out here, we had no intention of asking for a refund. We actually just wanted to make you guys aware that there was a mistake. But given the way that you've handled this, and given the way that this whole situation has gone down, I didn't want a refund before, but I want a refund now. And he just stood there and stared at me. So then the manager comes out and says, what's going on? And Mac basically goes on a bit of a tangent about what's happened, not making a whole lot of sense. And my husband and I just stood back and basically let him dig his own grave at this point because he was so, what's the word? He was so passionate about what was happening. When Mac had finished, I just said to him, look, very calm. I said to him, look, this is what's happened. Given the way this has been handled, and it's been handled so badly, we would like a refund. And Mac at this point was just jumping in and saying a whole lot of crap that the manager said, just go in the kitchen. Go in the kitchen, Go, I'll deal with this, you go in the kitchen. I just looked at this guy and was just like, what the hell? Are you serious? It was literally like this guy was having that time of the month. It was that bad. The manager said, look, this guy's been promoted recently to supervisor, quite possibly not ready for it. I do apologise for everything that's happened and I am happy to give you a full refund. He gave us our money back in cash and he gave us 2 gold class tickets. We thanked this guy. We thought this guy handled it so well. He was very polite about it. He apologised. Well done to that guy. We walked out of Reading Cinemas feeling quite happy with ourselves that in the end we got free tickets and free dinner, given the fact that our night was slightly messed up, and we went up the road and had coffee and cake instead. The moral of the story, people, is I don't know what the moral of the story is, if there should be a moral for this story. Anyway, that is my little Reading Cinemas story. If you like the story, please give it a thumbs up, and if you want to hear more storytelling videos, if you want to see more storytelling videos, then please let me know and I'll see you in my next video. Bye. Why is it you always wave and you're like, ah?